Hey everybody, this is Jason with you from Premier Janitorial. Coming back at you live again. Sorry I missed last week. I do apologize. I know I need to be better about being more consistent, so I do want to apologize for that. Anyway, we're back on today, and today we're going to talk about the value of relationships. It's weird, as I've been trying to struggle with coming up with topics. Want to try to come up with topics that are meaningful and that maybe somebody can get some gleam of information or add some value to people. So it's kind of been a struggle, but this just kind of popped. Kim and I were talking, and we were coming with ideas, and so this is kind of what came up to and resonated with this. So anyway, as far as relationships, I mean, life's all about relationships, right? But we're looking at it more from, I guess, this is more for like the business world, for either business owners or office managers, or in some kind of a business aspect. We're going to look at it more from that side than more from the personal relationships. Although it's hard to have one without the other, as I think we'll get into as we talk about some of these topics. So when we're looking at it from that aspect, there's basically, I guess there's three categories of people. I'm looking, got some notes coming up here. I can't read them. Sorry about that. I'm still, normally Kim's here, so she can kind of tell me what's going on, but she's home today. So I was trying to see, I thought I saw something pop up. So if I look a little disjointed, she's not here to help me today. So anyway, I'll get back to it. So there's three different categories of people that we build relationships as far as in the business world, right? We've got our clients, or if you're in the medical industry, your patients. We've got our vendors, which that can be either the people that we buy things from or order supplies from, or suppliers, or maybe subcontractors. I know, like in our business, we have what we consider vendors. We've got people that do floor care for us. We've got people that do carpets for us, windows. So those fall in the vendor realm. And then we've got our team, or employees. Is different people have different names for them. We call it a team. We're really trying to build a team environment here. So those are the different categories of relationships you're building. And some of them can be a little bit different, but overall, when you're building the relationships, and the value that they all bring to you, they all have a little bit of different value, but they're all really valuable in each different aspect. So we're going to talk about kind of the importance of building it, and why that's so important, and kind of how you do that, how you foster those relationships. So as far as the customer relationship or the client, the biggest thing is communication, right? It's hard to build a relationship when you're not talking with each other. And I know a lot of times with us, you get hired on to do a job, and you start doing your job, and you may communicate at first, but it seems like it fizzles out. And it's like, how do you build a relationship when you're not talking? So that's one of the biggest hurdles you have to get over, is the communication, trying to keep those lines open. There's different ways you can do that. You can ask for feedback, good, bad, or indifferent, right? A lot of times we think, oh, they only get a hold, especially in our line of the work, we do janitorial work. So it seems like we only get called when we mess things up or we miss something. And we got a little adage in our line of work that no news is good news. And that, it's hard to foster a relationship like that. And about these things, it seems like when I come up with these topics, it's things that we're really working on and things that we're trying to foster. I know if you think back, I was talking about core value hiring. That's one of the things we're really focusing on. Boxing your time and time management. I mean, that is one thing that I know I gave a talk on it. I still to this day struggle. And it's one of my counterparts in a mastermind group that we're a part of, and a coaching group that we're in, actually gave a talk about it yesterday. I went back and listened, and it's like, man, I had basically the same talk, and we're trying to do things the same, and it's like I struggle. And so these things I'm talking about are things that I struggle with and I'm working on too. So it's not like I'm a subject matter expert, just trying to bring some value and bring up some points here that we can maybe all learn from and work on. Ask for feedback, like I said, with your customers. That's one way to create that level of communication, whether, like I said, good, bad, or indifferent. They may give you back and say you're doing something great, and you follow up and say, hey, I appreciate that, but what can we do better? And maybe you've got the relationship and it's good, and they're afraid to tell you when it's something going on you're not doing it quite right. So when they give you that good feedback, and then you follow up with, hey, I appreciate that, what can we do better? Maybe that'll open up another line of communication and get the ball rolling, and you can start talking and keep that. Appreciation, just show appreciation, let them know that you appreciate them hiring you and having you as a client. And that's one way that you can help build that relationship and foster it. Biggest thing is when you're talking with people and you're building relationships and you're getting to know each other, especially when it's a new relationship, is to be authentic. You know, be who you are. Don't try to be who you think they want you to be or be fake. I mean, people see through that, and that doesn't gravitate to people. People want to see you for who you are and what your business is and what you're about, versus trying to be what you want them to be. I think during my research, as I was looking into this, I did a little bit of research and kind of, get different ideas on what to talk about. One of the things with being authentic, it was expectations, right? When you build a relationship, a lot of times you come in with preconceived notions or expectations. And so it's hard not to do. It seems like human nature, but we don't want to do those kinds of things. So when we're doing that, one of the things I read and one of the statements that really stuck out to me was accept people for who they are and not what you want them to be. So with that expectation and that being authentic, you don't want to go in with these preconceived notions and being judgmental as far as how that goes. So that's just one of the things you can look at. Another thing is, as you're building that relationship, is identify shared values or goals or cultures. As you're talking about things, you can kind of find out, what are some of the things you have in similar. As you're building your business or your clientele or your vendors, if you've got a culture that you're trying to already foster, it seems like other people already gravitate to that. And so when you identify these things and develop these relationships, and you've realized that you've got, maybe you're both part of a chamber or maybe in a church group or, in some kind of a group that you've got together, it seems like you kind of run into these people, and it's easier to bring these to the forefront. And, it's another way to just build that relationship and deepen it. Oh, let's see, I guess Kim is on there because she said, thank you, Amy. Yeah. Amy said on here, an amazing boss. I'll take it, but thanks, Amy. We hate to see, she actually was just in my office and came in to tell me she's leaving the end of the month. It's like, man, how come the good ones always go? So we're going to miss you, Amy, but congratulations on your move down to Georgia. But anyway, so yeah, you'll find that you have a lot of the similarities and the cultures come as you're building these relationships, and that makes it easier to build. And you'll know that as you are starting to build these relationships and you're around these like-minded people, that it's easier to build rapport with. And as you're building these relationships and as you're building your team and as you're building your clients, right? Because it's easier to work with people that you get along with and you generally like. And as you build this, you end up being around people that you generally like and want to hang out with. It's one of the things we're really trying to do, like on our team building side of it, is we really are trying to build, as I talked about, build a culture with our hiring, as I talked about a few weeks ago. And as we're doing that, and as our team is growing and it's coming in together, we do a monthly eat and greet. And it's like so much fun just to hang out with these people outside of a work environment. I know it's still a work function per se, but it's really neat to get to know people and just get to hang out. And it makes it fun getting to hang out with them. And during this process, one of the things that can really deepen that relationship as you get to know people is don't be afraid to show your vulnerability. Sorry. If you can't tell, I'm really nervous. I don't know why. It seemed like I was more nervous today than normal. I don't know if I felt ill, like I don't have a good grasp of this topic, but I just I'm really nervous today. But show your vulnerabilities. Let people see that you don't always have it all together. And especially in business, you want to put on that persona that you've got all the answers, you've got to know what's going on, especially with your team. And that's not the case. Listen to others' ideas and be open to them. And then if you don't know the answer, don't be afraid to tell it. Whether it's with a client, we're going to mess up, right? Nobody's perfect. So, you're going to do things wrong. Just own it, own up to it, and see how you guys can work to fix the problem, and people will be more receptive. And that really, I think, deepens that relationship as you do those things. Biggest thing is, especially with your team, is let them know that you have their back. Like I said, when talking about making mistakes, just like with us, we tell people all the time, look, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to miss a trash. You're going to miss something. There's going to be something the client wants done. You're going to miss it. But we try to let our people know that when that happens, we own it. We let the client know, but we let our people know too that we do have their backs. We're here for them. We're here to support them. And whether it's your team member, like I said, your vendors, your clients, just let them know you're there to support them and help them in whatever capacity is that relationship is there. And that'll definitely help tighten that relationship. when you're building these relationships, especially with like vendors as you build it, one of the things you can do is, and it's kind of like a referral network. Network's a big deal in the business industry, and there's all kinds of networking groups out there. But I think one of the best ways that you can network is you're within these groups and you build these relationships. If somebody were to come to me and I've got a relationship with one of my clients or one of my vendors per se, let's say somebody's looking for some kind of supplies, and I've got a great relationship with my vendor and the team that supports us in that. I mean, obviously, I'm going to refer them. And now that's not why you build that relationship. Hopefully you're building those relationships out of a genuine concern and care for each other. But as you do that, these things just kind of manifest. And like I alluded to earlier, as you're building this culture and you're building these relationships with people and you're being open with them and you're building all these things and finding these things are together, you bump into each other. It's just like an automatic, it just happens automatically that as things come up or people need things or somebody asks things. I mean, you see all these Facebook groups where people are referring. Well, why do you think that is? Because they've probably got relationships with these people. I mean, if you go to these different groups out there, it seems like for some of these questions, a lot of the same people get built. Well, obviously those people have probably done a pretty good job of building relationships and providing a service that people feel like they're generally cared about and do about. And that's what we want to try to do with across all these aspects, whether it's with clients, whether it's with, like I said, with vendors or with your team. And I say especially with your team because especially in our line of the work, we tell our team all the time, you guys are the ones that are creating the culture and the dynamic with our clients. I mean, yeah, you don't see them, we're there after hours, but the work that they do is, and the fact that they provide that and they know it's going to get done, they're the ones that are doing that and creating that culture and that environment for us. So just a few little things that I picked up doing this research. The value of relationships obviously can help us with a team environment, and it can help broaden those relationships with vendors, which then can be references to you, or you can refer out to help each other grow each other's businesses. And then obviously with your clients, you want to retain those clients. And then the referral network, no greater there's no greater advertising than word of mouth and people, talking about the relationship, not just with the work you do, but the genuine concern and care that you have for them when you build that relationship. So I know this was a little bit shorter today, but hopefully everybody got a little bit of value out of this. I know we definitely try to live by a lot of these things and build these relationships. We don't do it perfectly and we mess up sometimes, but it's something we really strive to do. So if you're out there, you're looking for a cleaning company and you want to build a relationship and have somebody that wants to come in and serve you, I'm going to put a thing up here. You can go to pjsak.com/upgrade me, get a little more information. Yeah, it popped up there. And if you got any questions, you can go there, or you can find us on Facebook or online. So hope you have a good weekend. Hopefully this weather holds out, and we'll see you guys next week.